Going to be live, going to be doing a live broadcast here from Jacksonville, Florida at Casper Architects. And we're just waiting to see if we're getting online here. We're going to give people a chance to jump online. All right, okay, so it looks like we're online and we're live. And I'm really very excited to be here in the offices of Casper Architects in Jacksonville, Florida. And the reason that I'm here today is because we're taking a look at their digital, the things they're doing in digital. It's really pretty exciting because as architects, they're really taking the industry forward, and they're using fully automated, digital in what they're doing. And I'm going to introduce some of the principles here. I'm going to come around here on the other side, and let's see. I'll come this way here, and right here I have Eric Casper, and getting off the screen here. There we go.
Hey, folks.
Getting a little better. And we have Eric Casper, and he's the principal of Casper Architects.
That's right.
And really excited to be here with him today because I've just had a really good conversation about what he's doing and what the office is doing with digital. And we wanted to just have a bit of a discussion about it today. And over here, I have Andrew Davis. He's on the other side.
Hey, everybody.
And he's sitting in front of his computer, got a little bit of the virtual reality that they're doing here. And we're going to do a little bit of a demonstration on it. So hang tight with us, and it's going to be really exciting. And then we have some other participants in the room over here. We have Susan, and she's out of the camera right now, but it'll be good for all of us to be here and have just a nice conversation. So maybe I'll just see if we can't somehow get everybody in the video view here at one time. Is there any way I can get you around to the end here? Giving people a chance to join in anyways. So there we go. That's a good conversation. So why don't we just do this? Why don't we start out by just having a little bit of a discussion. First of all, Eric, about your company. Can you just tell us about Casper Architects and really what you do here today?
Sure. Yeah, we're a full-service architecture and interior design firm. We're here in Jacksonville. We've been in business on our own for 15 years now. We're up to 21 persons. So we do commercial architecture, and we really just love serving the industry and creating up some new designs. And it's really enjoy what we do.
That's great. And so, Eric, so did you found the company then 15 years ago?
Yeah, actually went to school at University of Florida, moved out to Los Angeles to be a famous architect, and then
Okay.
started having kids, moved back to Jacksonville.
All right.
I worked for another firm, a large firm here in town, and then in 2004 ventured out on our own, started just me and a guy out of college, and then slowly grew from there. We feel that the joke is that we're overnight success 15 years later. So our experience has really grown, and our resume has really helped us now.
Hey, to have passed that 15-year mark, that's really pretty amazing for a business. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it kind of grew a couple years ago. We started an ownership transition plan. We brought on some of the guys that have been with me in the beginning. They bought into the firm. They're now partners of the firm, and that's really helped everything grow.
All right, okay. And so, about how big is the firm right now? How many employees?
Yeah, we're at 21 persons.
Okay.
We just hired a new interior designer, so we're growing. We've got the full divisions as architecture, full service interior design, plus our business development, and then we team up with local engineers to really bring out the whole package.
Excellent. So really you outsource or you subcontract that engineering out to people. That really creates a much bigger team and a much bigger presence.
Exactly. And it allows us to get engineers that are specialized to each project.
Yeah,
so
right.
if it's educational or automotive or healthcare, we can tailor those engineers with that expertise for that particular client.
So Andrew, sitting next to us here. Andrew, what's your role in the company here?
So I'm an architect and lead designer at Casper.
All right, okay. And I understand you just had a significant milestone in your professional career here. What was that?
Yes, I just became fully registered as a registered architect.
All right, congratulations. That's really good.
Which is not an easy task.
Yeah.
It's lots of school,
All right.
lots of internship, and then how many six grueling tests?
6 tests.
6 separate tests.
6 separate tests. All right, okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank
Good work. Good work. Hey, Eric, can you tell us what kind of the theme of the things I do in different industries is focus on digital transformation, really bringing people from, paper-based environments into electronic kind of an environment. And I focus in the aviation industry, and I was in the construction and architecture and engineering industry for over 10 years.
Okay.
And, it's a lot of the things that we were doing in construction and architecture and engineering were really behind as far as digital was concerned. What are you doing in your firm to really kind of bring those things really, to current day using current day technologies?
Wow, that's a full package there. I kind of think we've gone. Architecture since probably the 80s, 90s has gone digital, where we were using CAD drafting in almost all of our production. I think where our launch is taking that digital and going to the 3 dimensions. So I think around 2007, we committed to all of our projects would be 3-dimensional digital. So digital not only in the 2D, but digital in the 3D. And so what, as you mentioned, what we're recently doing is now trying to take those digital that we create. So in Office, we'll have the full digital package within our computer. We're generating the 3-dimensional model in the office. We're coordinating with our engineers, making sure the ductwork is there and the structure is there, and everything's coordinated in a 3-dimensional model. But unfortunately, the construction industry and even the permitting agencies still require us to submit a paper copy. So it's almost like we have to dumb down our drawings in order to get them built. And so what we're working on now is using app-based software that a contractor can easily download onto his iPhone or his iPad or his laptop, and we can send them the full 3-dimensional computer model of the building, and they can have access to it and really be able to see so much more information. Because unfortunately, in the paper world, we have to take that 3-dimensional model, which has millions of amount of information, and when we translate it to 2D, it loses so much information. It only has a few pieces that you can see at that time. But if we're allowing them to be able to see that full 3-dimensional digital version, then now they have access to so much more information than before.
Okay, so what are some of the, there's obvious benefits to going to digital, but then what are some of the advantages to doing that? Like, let's start with to the end user, to the client. What are some of the advantages to them having that information digitally?
Sure. Well, for one moment, if we talk about the client as being the contractor,
okay,
really we're providing documentation for the contractor so he can build the structure.
Yeah, let's say the end user or the consumer of your product.
So as the consumer, they're going to get a building that is more coordinated, so it's not going to have as many change orders or cost overruns. They're going to get for larger facilities, they would actually receive that digital model that they can use for maintenance in the future. They could be able to log the information on their mechanical systems, when it was built, what are all the statistics about it. They can put in maintenance of when they scheduled the air filter changes, light bulbs, everything. So they can use that full 3-dimensional model and transfer it to their facilities group to be able to operate and maintain their building.
Okay, all right. So what about on your end? Is it the advantages of going to digital? How does that optimize, your office environment and the work that you're doing?
Yeah, it's the efficiency. So if I can try and explain, in the past, when we would, so imagine a box or imagine, just my phone here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in order to represent the phone, I would have to draw a flat elevation of this one, an elevation of that, an elevation of the side, and each side. And so I'd have to take this and create maybe 6 different drawings, separate detached drawings of this. And then if during the design, if I was to move this circle over here, I'd have to go back into each one of those 6 drawings and make the change. But now, since this is all a 3-dimensional model, when I move it in the 3-dimensional model, it automatically updates each one of those 6 drawings.
Right, yes.
So there's an efficiency there, and avoiding errors, because there's always, the error is, can we track that change through all of those 15 different drawings?
Yeah. And, one of the biggest challenges I had when we were in land development is really, the busts and the plans, the places where maybe things didn't meet or, just some of the missing information. And so as an owner and a land developer, I found that it was really difficult because you'd put a set of plans out for bidding, and the contractors would bid on those plans. And then all of a sudden there'd be change orders and additional cost and things involved.
Yeah, we hate that.
Yeah, I know. And so it was really so important to have accurate information. So what you're doing to be able to create an environment where you can create better, accurate information and do better coordination with your engineers and your subcontractors, so that ultimately your plans that are being submitted for approval are more accurate, really helps the owners and the land developers in being successful.
And what a better place to do that coordination is in the computer, in the digital realm, rather than out in the physical realm where I'm literally moving a steel beam to avoid this duct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I also noticed that you're using some new technologies. Earlier today, we were doing some demonstrations of some of your virtual reality reality
Right.
technology,
Right.
enabling people to do a better job of visualizing the work that you're doing. And sitting here next to me right now here, Andrew is sitting at the computer right now. And are we in a position where we can do a demonstration of
We
that?
can,
Or-
absolutely.
Okay, that'd be really great.
Yes, so what we've been able to do is, since we already have the three-dimensional model, we've worked everything out, but now we can take that three-dimensional model and look at it different ways. So I mentioned before, we have the app-based software where we can send it to the contractor and he can see the thing on his iPad. But now we can take that same model, move it into a rendering or virtual reality software and allow the owner to physically or virtually, I guess, see inside of that model.
Right.
So at this moment, we can understand, we can experience the space, experience the adjacencies of different spaces. That, you know, my office is next to there and I need to communicate with my accountant. We can experience the different textures and materials. So if the owner wants to see what does this one carpet look like or versus tile, we can change lighting. We can change, are you ready?
I am.
Awesome, sorry.
No, it's great.
Yeah,
No, it's
so-
perfect. No, it's perfect.
And I think you'll be able to see that. So go
Yeah.
ahead and pull that up.
Yeah, so we're going to, I'm going to flip the camera around now, and what we're going to do is, did you want to wear it, or did you want Susan to wear it, or what would be a good way to do that?
Either one. You want to try it?
Okay, why don't we have, we're gonna have Susan go ahead and demonstrate how we put on this virtual reality headset, and how she can actually do a virtual walkthrough, and then Eric, maybe you could give us a little bit of a discussion about what's really going on here at this point.
Sure, yeah. So this can I see it in here? Sure. So this is a client, and they came to us and they wanted a new space, and it was a big open space that was existing. And from here, we're able to show them how the space feels and how it looks. They wanted a new environment for their associates, and so you can see we have the different colors of carpet. We actually placed the actual furniture. So we get with the furniture supplier. A lot of providers having more digital representation of their existing furniture that they're trying to sell, and so we're able to insert that in there. We can change finishes. Actually, light fixtures too. So almost all vendors now are providing digital representation of their products, and we're able to put that directly in the material. So Susan, you can kind of imagine now what it would be like to be in this space.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so imagine if you're in that conference room on the corner and you're having a small meeting, and then if you, down to the left, so there's a hallway, you can see how it's connected to the rest of the space, and you can communicate maybe with someone else. And if you move to the right, now you can see a little further. So now here's a series of workstations and how people would be positioned, and then I think further right we would then, and so then another
Lots of
connection.
light.
Yeah, and then exactly. See, you notice the actual sun coming in there, the light
Very
patterns,
cheerful.
and you can even see outside. So we really think it's been a win-win for the owner to expectations. Really, in our world, it's setting the expectation.
Okay, and what do you mean by that? What do you mean by
So
setting
the owner's gonna come
expectations?
to us and they're in their mind, they're expecting what space they're going to get, and we can't tap directly into their mind. But if we can show them digitally what their space is going to look like, then they're going to say, yes, this is what I like. And then when it gets built, just like this, then expectation has been set and expectation
Yeah.
has been met.
So I had put this on a little bit earlier, and immediately I had noticed that is that as I put on the set, I noticed that I was able to put myself into the world of the building and the space.
Right.
And one of the things I noticed right away is I said, some of these things are a little bit different than what I expected. Like, for example, the ceiling looked a little higher, the spaces looked a little broader. And so is it actually, similar to what I'm actually going to see, or how actual is this virtual reality to what I'm actually going to have in the future?
Well, the beauty of it is we've been implementing this long enough that we've had clients that have now moved into their space. And they love to send us back pictures of, here's the picture that we actually took this morning, and here's the rendering that you sent us 6 months ago, and it's exactly the way we thought. So we're getting success in the actual delivery of the space.
Yeah, and I had plenty of experience of working with 4 or 5 different architects. That's not as much as many people, but in the end is that we had a lot of drawings that we were looking for, and we had to visualize what things would look like. And many times I was looking at 2-dimensional line drawings. And it made it really difficult, to know exactly what you're getting. And many times you didn't know exactly what you were getting on the finishes and things like that until you actually were in the space or it was partially being completed. And so How are you finding? Is this actually being a good way to draw the owners or the land developers or the person that's responsible, the representative, into this to better coordinate with them?
Yeah, I think the coordination works really well. What we're trying to do as designers, we're trying to get in the brain, get in the mind of our client, and what do they want, and how can we deliver what they want. And then we also have visions of what we want it to be. And so to be able to show them that in a built or in a virtual space, I go back to the expectation. The worst scenario is you design a building, you build it, the owner walks in and says,
it's not what I expected.
I didn't know you were going to have that there and
didn't
that
work.
there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
change orders and upset
it's been
people.
Very helpful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So let's just ask you this: where do you think this will go next? I mean, what are you trying to do next? What's your vision for the future? Because one of the things I try to tell people is that you have to put a vision for the future out there, and then begin to work toward how you're going to get there. But what do you see out on the horizon? What are you trying to do with respect to digital and where you're going?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really think it's getting the construction world in the same digital realm that we're in. Mm-hmm. That we're able to do this virtual reality, we're able to do the coordination with our engineers, we're able to get the owner to understand it and get our engineers to understand it. The next hurdle is for the contractor to actually be able to take the same digital modeling and build from it. So we don't have to translate it down to a 2-dimension. So I think that is the future of for the contractor to be able to use the same digital information to construct the facility, and we don't have to make a translation of the documents.
Yeah, and if there were people out there who had ideas on how they could help you do that, could they reach out to you and have some discussion with you about that?
Yeah, definitely. You can check our website. It's CasperArch.com. Casper's with a K.
Okay.
So CasperArch.com. You'll be able to connect us from there. You see the work we're doing, and I'd love to chat, communicate, email, phone call, whatever, and share some ideas.
And tell me again now, just so for the people that are watching now, is that what is your area of specialties and what do you do and how can you best serve the community with these new technologies and what you're really trying to bring? What's your area that would be the most interesting to people as far as architecture and engineering is concerned?
In the broadest term, it's commercial architecture,
Mm-hmm.
and then it goes through many markets of retail, of industrial, of educational, of hospitality, and so we have a wide range of commercial architecture projects that we work on, and I think within the community, what we're trying to do just with the digital is to be able to convey our ideas, to get our owners on board, get them excited about the project, and then ultimately deliver the project that they expected. And then just kind of a side note, that beyond the digital side, we believe that good design does equal good business. And so our strategy is we want every client that comes to us that we can understand their needs, design a facility for that, and when they move into that new facility, their business is more prosperous and successful because of the design that we created.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really good because one of the things that I experienced in doing development in the past is that when I found a good architect who could help us to be able to create a space that meets the needs of what we were looking for, and they did it efficiently and effectively, and being able to coordinate with the approving authorities which had to buy off on the plans and things that we had, it really created a much more streamlined, cost-effective project. And so, by the things that you're doing, I'm really very excited that you're applying digital technology, into this world and into this environment, because I think you really have an opportunity to be able to bring things forward. And I really, know that by doing that, that Casper Architects is going to be successful. And so I want to thank you very much for giving us some time, just to have this chat today. And Andrew's over there standing by, just wrapping things up on the VR. I want to thank you for helping us out here today. And Susan for being helping us out with the virtual reality. It's great to have had an opportunity. So I want to thank everybody who was watching today. Again, if you have an opportunity, reach out to Casper Architects. Want to have a further chat with them about digital and what they're doing and the projects that you might have. You said it was CasperArch.com. Is that what
correct.
It is? Okay, Casper with a K,
Yeah.
KasperArch.com. Reach out and I just want to thank you for joining us today. And I say fair winds and following seas to you. Have a great